Today's story is the Serpent Wife. The Serpent Wife. Serpent means snake. Snake. This is a Ukrainian folk tale. Okay. A long time ago, many years ago, once upon a time, there was a man. And this man, he was a good man, gentleman. He was a rich man, and he had lots of a big farmland, and he grew corn. He grew corn in this large farmland. So he had many servants. Okay? He had many people who were working for him. Laborers. Okay? Labor means to work. So laborer means workers. Okay? So the servants, workers. So this man had many laborers, but he had one laborer who was a little bit strange. He had this one young man. He was a little bit strange because he did not want to go and do things with other laborers. There were many laborers, I don't know how many, 6, 7, 8 laborers, but he was one of the laborers, but he did not want to go and do things with other people. He liked to be alone. When his friends or his co-workers, his friend laborers, say to him, let's go to a drinking place, let's go to a tavern and drink, let's go and drink, Tavern is a place where you go and drink, I think. And so when they say, let's go, he says, no, I don't want to go. He was always alone. He never went along with others in company. So he was a loner. Loner means he likes to be alone. He likes to do things all by himself. Okay? His friends or his co-workers came and said, come on, let's go. They invited him. They invited him to go to the place. They invited him, and they said, they said, come on, it's really nice to go to a place like this. And so they would try to appeal to him. They would tempt him. They would say, come, this is going to be good. The drinking is good. Dancing is interesting. They would tempt him. They would entice him into the tavern. Entice him means invite him or tell him that it's going to be fun, so come along. They would invite him. They would tempt him. They would make it so appealing to go to the drinking place. Yeah, so they wanted to entice him. Come on, they wanted to entice him to go to the tavern, but he would say no, he didn't want to go. He always wandered away. Wander away means he just goes to other places. He would always wander away into a forest. He liked to go to a forest, and he would just walk around in the forest among the trees. He liked to stroll. He liked to walk around. He liked to stroll in the forest. And so he would usually go into the forest far, far away from the field or the village. And so, people didn't know where he went. Yeah? And so one day he was walking in the forest. And then there are lots of trees and trees and trees. And he was walking in the forest, and there was this big tree, and under this tree there was a snake. There was a big snake under a big tree. It was a huge, big serpent. It was a huge serpent. This huge serpent began to come close to him. The big serpent wiggled straight up to him. Wiggle. Remember wiggle? Wiggle. Wiggle is like a move in a small, make small movement. Like you wiggle your toes. Remember in the Ghost Bride, you got a feet. You have a foot, and then toes, and you wiggle your toes. Yeah, wiggle. And then, but when the snake wiggled, means the snake wiggled straight up to him. Okay, it's okay. The snake came. The snake came very close to him, and the snake said to him, I am going to eat you. I'm going to eat you. And then this man said, well, he said, if you really want to eat me, go ahead, eat me, he said to the snake. He said, very well, okay, you can eat me, he said. Then the snake strangely said, the snake said, I'm going to eat you. But then snake said, well, I guess not. The snake said, I am not going to eat you, the snake said. And then the snake said, do what I tell you. Do what I tell you. She said to him, okay, do it. Yeah, do what I tell you. Okay? I am going to tell you something, and so you do it. The snake said to him. So he said, what do you want me to do? And then the snake said, she said, your master, he's angry with you because you have stayed in the forest too long. You should have gone back to the work. You have not been working in the field. And so your master is not happy with you. He is angry with you. Okay, he's angry with you because you have stayed in the forest too long. You have tarried so long. You have tarried. Tarry means stayed longer in the woods too long. You stayed in the forest too long. Okay? She said, You tarried. You tarried. You tarried so long in the forest, and your master wants you to come back and work. The corn has not been brought back into the barn. The corn is still standing in the field, and they should be cut down, and they should be brought back to the barn, to his house. Okay, not his house, but to his shed, to the storage place. And she said nicely, she said, I'll help you. She said, I'll help you. And so he said, all right, and he went back. He went back with the he went back. He went back with the snake to the field. Okay? Now, when they came to the field, there were lots of corn. Yeah, or corn. I don't know how corn. Okay, this is corn. Okay, corn. There were lots of corn in the big field. And then the snake said, I will help you. She said, I will help you. Take down all this corn and put them in the cart. Put them in the cart or wagon. Okay? And I'll take them to the master's shed. The master's barn or shed, okay, the place, the storage. And so she began to work in the field, and there was this big wagon, yeah, and there were lots of corn, many bundles of corn, okay. So the bundles, I think you remember, you put the corn, okay, lots of corn together, and then you put them together. This is one bundle. Yeah. Here in this text, it says sheaf. Sheaf is a bundle. Okay? Sheaf. This is a sheaf. And so they put many sheaves in there, and because it was so heavy, the wheels creaked. Creak means, the sheaves were so heavy, the corn was so heavy, the wheels creaked. Many the carts, many wagons. He had to take all these things back to his storage place, but the snake helped him. So within, I don't know how many minutes or hours, but very quickly it was done. Okay? It was done. But the snake said to him, I'll help you and finish this work, but leave one bundle, leave one little sheaf behind. Don't take everything, just leave one in the field. And when you go home, when you go back to his your master, tell him that you would like to have just one little sheaf to yourself. Tell him that you don't want to get paid for your work. He said, tell him that you do not want to get paid by way of wages. Okay, by way of wages means instead of giving me the money as the payment. Okay, as the payment, give me one little sheaf. The snake is telling him, and then tell the master, you don't want any money, just you want the one little sheaf of corn. Okay, so he went back to him, and the master was very, very happy because he brought all the corn back from the field to his shed, to his storage place. And so he was very happy, and so he said, I will pay you for the work. And then he said, oh no, he said, I don't want to get paid. Just give me one little sheaf, one little bundle of corn, he said to him. And so the master said, all right. And so he got this one bundle, okay? Then the snake said to him, snake said to, okay, here, this is guy, and snake said to him, she said, burn the corn. She said to him, burn the corn. When you burn this corn out from this, when you burn, a young woman will jump out of the burning corn. A young woman, beautiful girl, will jump out, leap out of the burning corn, and then marry her. The snake said to him, marry her, she said, or it said to him. And then the snake disappeared. So the man went to the corn, one little sheaf of corn, and he burned it. Okay, he burned the corn, and sure enough, jumped out a beautiful girl. It was a fair lady. It was a fair lady, means beautiful lady, came out. So he, without delay, without waiting, immediately, okay, without delay, forthwith, he took her and married her. He married her, okay? Then after he married her, he wanted to build a house for them, for the girl, for him and his wife. And then nicely, the master gave him a place, a small piece of property, small piece of land. And so he built a beautiful, nice house, cottage, okay? Nice house. But, when he built it, his wife helped him build this house. And without, even when it didn't take very long, it didn't take like 3 days or a month, 4 weeks. The house was built right away, and inside the house, everything was ready to be used. They had 2 beds, and they had tables and sofa, chairs, chest of drawers, and lamps, and everything that they needed. They had a lot of kitchen utensils, kitchen tools, the knives and forks and things like that in the kitchen, and pots and pans in the kitchen. So everything was there, and not only everything was there, everything was so beautiful, nicely, very, very clean, spotlessly clean. They were spick and span. Okay, everything was quite spick and span. Okay, and he was very, very, he thought, wow, why is this like this? And his house was the most beautiful house in the village too. His house was more beautiful than anybody else's house. So he had this house, and his house was just so beautiful, and he had everything in here, and the man could not believe it. He didn't understand why it was like this. But now he was married to a beautiful woman, and this girl, this woman, helped him with everything. She helped him with his work, and she did the housework, and she made good food for him, and she was a wonderful wife. And so for I don't know how many years, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years, passed. Now, after 5 years, this man was very successful because his wife helped him so much that he became a rich man. And now he owned 3 different cornfields. He was an owner of 3 different cornfields. And then he himself had his servants. He himself had his servants. He himself had his laborers. Yeah? Well, so he was very happy. Now, one day, so after 5 years, they were living very happily together in this house, and he had 3 different cornfields, and everything was going very, very well. Everything was going very, very well. One day, I don't know what month it was. I would think maybe like June. Okay, he was coming home. He was coming home from somewhere, and his laborers, his servants came, and they said to him, "Master," they said, "the corn is still standing. It is not cut down. It is not gathered yet. The work is not done," they said to this man. Now he said, "Why? Why is not work done yet?" he said. He became very, very angry. He said, "Why hasn't my wife worked and finished the work? Why hasn't she cut down the corn and gather them and store them in the storage place?" He was very angry, and he said to the laborers, "Go to work." He said, "Go to work." And so the laborers went to work. Now, this man was walking, and he was very, very angry. And so, because he was so angry, he said something. You see, he could have lived very peacefully. He could have lived very successfully if he had been very careful. But he wasn't careful because he was angry. In his anger, because he was angry, in his anger, he said something. He said something. He was walking and he said something. He said, once a serpent, always a serpent, he said. Once a serpent. Once she was a serpent. This woman was a snake before, but then she changed into a woman. Before she was a serpent, but now she's a woman, but because she was a serpent, she's always a serpent. Even though she looks like a woman, she's a serpent, he said, on the way home. Okay? Now, when he came home, he went to this is his bedroom. He went to his bedroom because he wanted to lie down on his bed. Here is his bed, and there was this pillow, big pillow. And he wanted to lie down and put his head on the pillow, and he wanted to go to sleep. Well, when he came home, his wife was not there. His wife was gone, except a big, huge snake was coiling itself on the pillow, in the middle of the pillow. The man looked at the snake, and then he remembered. Oh no, he thought, I should not have said, once a serpent, always a serpent. He remembered his wife had said, please do not call me a serpent. She said, beware of ever calling me a serpent. Beware of means be careful not to do that. Be careful not to call me a serpent. But the man forgot. And so he remembered, and now the woman changed back to a serpent. Now the wife is gone, and now his wife is a serpent. He was sad. He regretted it, and he regretted that he could not stop himself from saying such a thing. He could not refrain. He could not stop himself. He could not refrain from saying this, and he could not stop from saying this. And so he said that, and then now the woman is now a serpent. And so he was very sad, and he regretted it, and he began to cry. He began to cry bitterly. Bitterly. And, but the serpent said, do not weep anymore. Don't cry anymore. She said, what is done is done. You said it. So it's too late. Even when you cry, you can't change it. I am now changed back to a serpent. And she said, come with me, she said. Oh no, she said, are you sad because the corn is not gathered? Why are you crying? She said. Don't you remember? I did all the work for you for all these years. I planted the corn. I watered the corn. I don't know if she did, but watered the corn. And she said, I cut the corn down and brought the corn back home, and I stored them all, and I did all the work for you, she said. Well, she didn't do it because she probably had a magic power. But she said, I did that for you. And but you broke the promise. And you couldn't help yourself saying things like, once a serpent, always a serpent. And so she said, I cannot, I'll be a serpent again. I am a serpent again, she said. And then she said, come with me. We have to go back to the place where we first met. Okay? So, the man followed the serpent, and the serpent went to the forest, and he followed her. Okay? And they came to the place where they first met. And then the serpent turned around, and she said to the man, she said, kiss me. Be careful so that I won't bite you. Okay? And so the man bent over, and he kissed the serpent. And then the serpent said, how do you feel? And the man said, oh, that's strange. I feel like I understand everything what's going on in the world. And then the serpent said, kiss me again for a second time. So he bent over and kissed the serpent. And then the serpent asked him, how do you feel? And then he said, wow, it's strange. I feel like I understand every language spoken in the world. And then the serpent said, kiss me again for a third time. And then this is the last time, she said. And he bent over and kissed him for a third time. And then she asked him, how do you feel? And then he said, wow, it's strange. I feel like I understand everything what's going on under the ground. She said, now that you understand everything, you understand every language, with that knowledge, go to the emperor. Go to the emperor. The emperor, the king, the emperor will give you his daughter. You can marry his daughter. I will be a serpent forever. Now you go and marry your emperor's daughter. But she said, pray. She said, pray to God for me, because I'll be a serpent forever, she said. And then she said goodbye, and she turned around, and she went into the forest, and she disappeared. She's gone. The man turned around, and he went to the emperor, and because the emperor was happy to have a man who understood everything, so emperor gave him his daughter, and the man married the emperor's daughter. The end.